This is a short video about Adobe Lightroom and the new way that the masks work in the latest version, and the addition of a whole host of presets that are available. Now the masks are all clumped together in this icon here, just underneath the histogram, which is a circle or a filter icon. If you click on that, you will see underneath it there's a drop-down list of available options, including select subject, select sky, and then the various gradients and color range tools that were previously separate icons in the older versions of Lightroom. The new options on this version are auto selections, so we can select the subject or select the sky. So I'm going to try selecting the sky on this particular picture, and it says detecting. Okay, it's made the selection, and the unselected parts have kind of gone mono at the bottom of the image. So anything we do now on the exposure, contrast, shadows panel, etc., will be applied only to the mask that the algorithm has created over the sky. So if I say alter the exposure now, it just alters it on the area that's selected, this being the sky. So if I dial in, say, about a stop of underexposure on the sky, it makes it very dark and stormy looking. But there are possibly some issues with the transition where it meets the top of the reeds here on this particular picture. If we zoom into that, you can probably see that the selection is perhaps not quite the tidiest. Now you can get around that by going up to the mask, the floating mask panel, and next to mask 1, which is the one it's created, there are 3 dots. If you click on the 3 dots, there's various options, and halfway down it says intersect mask with. Then you have various options, so you can intersect it with a brush tool, a linear gradient or a radial gradient. So I'm going to go for linear gradient here, which is most often what I use on skies. So if I can now draw out the linear gradient or graduated filter, if you like, over the area that's selected. And now by moving the gradient tool up and down, it controls how much kind of interaction there is between the area that's selected and the ground below it. So if I think that the transition area or the selection area at the edges of the sky and the land is a little bit off, then I can control how much to sort of smooth that out with the gradient tool. So you can see if I darken it down, see the effect more. It won't go down into the land because that area isn't selected in the mask, but it does make a difference in how much that transition affects the area at the bottom part of the sky where it meets the ground. We can also do this, and just delete this mask for now. So if I click on 3 dots again, I can delete all masks. Let me just move to another image to show how the other one works better. So now if I go to select subject, it's detecting the subject. And here it has selected the subject, which is in this case the old stable. And if I alter the exposure now, you can see that that is just being applied to what the software thinks is the main subject. When it's taking the part of the tree into this as well, as you can see. But this could be very useful for quick masking of things that aren't too complicated, and you can always refine the edges anyway with this intersect tool, so you can alter the edges with a brush or the linear gradient or the radial gradient in case they aren't the most accurate selections. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the other image and show how the presets work. Now the presets are automatic, so if you go to the adaptive sky preset, I mean there are dozens of them, so there are portraits, retro, subject, etc, etc. But for a landscape, then most obviously the sky is quite important, so I'm going to go to the adaptive sky one. If I click on the first one, which is blue drama, it's just giving me an estimate of how long it's going to take to select and apply the setting. Okay, so that took 3 or 4 seconds, and now it's created this new mask up here, which is in the little panel, and it's showing me the blue drama version of the filter on the sky. So I can now go to dark drama, which kind of does what it says: neon tropics, storm clouds, sunrise, sunset, etc. There are a whole host of different ones. So let's go back to the other picture again. We'll just clear this mask so we can see what's happening. So if I go to adaptive subject and I want to pop the shed, then or warm the shed, or any of the other options, it selects what it thinks is the main subject in this picture and adds the filtration on the new mask that is created. We also have at the top of the selection of presets a slider which can adjust the amount of effect that has on the image. So just to recap, the new masking tool is hidden in this circle here, which offers us options on what kind of mask we want. So select the subject, select the sky, use the linear gradient, the brush, the radial, etc. And we can intersect those with other gradient tools. And over on the left hand side, we've got a large range of presets which we can just click through, and then that kind of shows up what it's doing in the mask window as well on the right hand side. So if it's not quite what you want, you can still tweak it and get it more to your liking. So that's the latest version of Lightroom and how the new selections and the new presets work. There's a lot more to it, and there's a lot more practice needed, but you can go through the different presets and the different masking tools and try them out in your spare time.